Phil, if you had to define a win in one sentence, how would you put it?
I think wins at the moment for us are um, converted jobs with a lot of leads and, and ultimately profitable jobs. And
Sure.
I think that's been our focus for the year is how do we make the jobs we work more profitable, just as a starting point, baseline.
What pressure did you want most off of your plate?
I think that the the pressure I wanted off my plate was the as dealing with marketing, wanting to ultimately kind of find my guy in that realm to pass a lot of that stuff off to,
Sure.
that I had peace of mind at the end was getting taken care of and done correctly, and I didn't have to reinvent the wheel.
Hmm. Yeah, that's huge.
Hmm.
Um, what felt sustainable as you grew, Phil? As you guys started to scale your business and grow, what felt like it was really a burden on you?
I mean, honestly, the uh, low cash flow
Mm,
and coupled. So if we're not making our margins and cash flow gets tight, it just chokes everything. It makes everything miserable.
yeah, we've seen that pretty common in the industry when this in the tree service stuff.
Hmm.
Couple questions here. What told you GRM gets it for tree services? What promise or plan from our first discussions made you say, "Hey, let's give these guys a go"?
So for me, it was you guys came via recommendation and from a source I trust, and that was huge. And then working with you guys to come up with essentially kind of a trial basis made it very, the fact that I wasn't signing some sort of long-term agreement
Right,
and we could kind of make sure that it was a good fit over and kind of quit at any time
right.
was a lot of ways no brainer for me.
Awesome. In your words, Phil, what was the simple plan we agreed to for what was the simple plan we agreed to first? What was that first small step that made it feel doable?
I think that was it. Was like I'm gonna turn over what I'm doing, and you guys are gonna get. I think the big one was there was gonna be some evaluation and analysis of what we were doing and how can we make it better.
Sure.
And there wasn't a long term commitment, and yeah, and it was offloading, but not in the way where I would not actually be able to get it back.
Right.
That made it absolutely doable.
What did you and your team start doing differently in week one? What did GRM take off your plate so that you could help focus running the cruise?
I uh, I got to take on more sales and go do quote work and actually start working with our sales team to make sure we were getting our numbers correct. So instead of worrying about trying to generate a ton of leads, I was able to make sure that the what we were quoting with those leads was a lot more better.
What got easier first? Was it your calendar, job quality, follow up, or crew scheduling? What changed for customers because of those changes?
Um, I think it probably kind of on that same profitability note, because we were increasing our accuracy in our quoting,
Sure.
it allowed when we were running jobs where we said, hey, this is going to take 4 hours in our quotes, and they were running into 6 or 7 hours. Our guys, and I felt this when I was in the field too, like did not want to give any extra to the client
Right.
because we already were giving more, like we were giving them everything they were promised. But in our minds, we were giving them so much extra. But now when our jobs are quoted well, our guys have margin to go, oh, I can spend that extra 15 minutes over here because we said this was going to be a 6 hour job and we're only at 5.5 hours and we're basically done. I can spend 15 minutes over here really uh, doing the extra mile for the customer.
Sure.
That's been huge.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. What headaches show up less now, Phil? What did we stop or simplify that freed up time or cut stress?
Um, my headache of not knowing exactly what I was looking at when I'm looking at our ads.
Sure.
And is it looks like it's doing okay, but is it really? So I think that was the first thing I think you guys did for us was help us fix a lot of our tracking
Right.
tools in our setup.
Mhm.
And it's given us a lot better understanding of how we're doing.
Before GRM, we were blank. Now we're blank.
Um, for GRM, we were so this one's a little hard for me to answer even in that fashion because it is like when we brought you on was around the same time I bought out my partner.
Right.
So it definitely allowed me to offload and not like I was spending a lot of my time on marketing
Hmm.
before the buyout, and this has made that so that it's been fine for me not to spend that time on marketing from that slice of marketing
Sure.
for sure.
So after the buyout, it kind of almost took marketing almost off your plate in the sense that you were able to focus on a lot of the sales and stuff like that.
Right. It basically gave us a new employee with while getting rid of an employee.
Sure.
So it made that possible.
If you could
Or
answer this in a simple fashion, if another owner asked you why'd you pick GRM, what would you tell them?
um they came highly recommended from a source I trusted.
Sure.
That's
Last step for today, Phil.